Thank you. Past President Glenn. So, Ralph, I so appreciate that. I mean, that is so true. When divers stir up the sand, it really reduces our visibility. And by any chance, from Florida, were you or are you a diver?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Anybody else here certified? Tony, I had no idea. And Marty, awesome, awesome. Wow, wow. Yeah, absolutely. So ever since I can remember, I would have a mask on my face when I was in the swimming pool. I learned to swim at the age of 10. So we're at the Jersey Shore and I'm trying to see marine life. You're not going to see much. Maryland, well, maybe you might see something down there. But when we then went to the Bahamas, our 5th-year anniversary in 1985, that was my first taste of snorkeling in the Caribbean. I was hooked. So then we'd go to the Carolinas with our boys, Florida, and I'd be just going crazy and introducing her. She's a good snorkeler. By the way, this is my wife, Peggy. Most of you know her. And in fact, I've asked her to assist and fill in anything of interest to you that I may have forgotten. So I would then venture out too far because I was just so loving this. And before I know it, I'm in like 15 feet of water and the lifeguard is blowing his whistle. Okay, and then she's freaking out, the boys. So, all right, time for me to get scuba certified. So, somebody tell me, what does scuba mean if you're not already a diver?
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
There it is, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So, there are levels of certification, as you can see on the screen, and what they qualify you to do. I've started out as open water, and then I became advanced open water, and then, of course, dive master. Then we got the search and recovery, unfortunately, recovery, the rescue diver, and then underwater professional technicians. And this is really interesting stuff and very life-risking stuff many times. Doing boat repairs underwater, maintenance on boats, welding boat hulls, welding bridge supports, assisting in recovering sunken objects, boats, propellers, boat parts to vehicles. So for me to get my certification, here is the book 17 years ago. And the way to get the levels done, now somebody tell me there are probably two different places you can get certified. Anybody? Where's one, obviously? Kevin.
Is it down by River Road?
Yes, Smoky, Den. There is a quarry there. That's closed now. So, but the place that's connected with that is Lancaster Scuba. So basically what I'm saying is go to your local scuba dive area, a dive company, and they will get you started. But also anywhere else you can go other than locally, maybe some of you have done it. In fact, Mike Hanshew did it recently, is go, yeah.
Well, I got mine at Noseville.
Okay. I mean, other than locally. So you can go to a resort, a dive resort in the Caribbean or wherever. While you're on vacation, you can get scuba certified. They have Discovery Scuba just to get started, get a little taste of it, and then you can continue on through. So my experience, this is the dive book, and this is the statement on the back of it. If you live life on the edge or find pleasure in a pure adrenaline high, you should be a diver, whether exploring the secrets of a sunken wreck or a nearby lake, venturing through hidden underwater caverns, or experiencing close encounters with fascinating species in exotic corners of the globe. You'll find adventure on every dive and meet others who share your quest for unending excitement. So locally, Lancaster Scuba used the Lidditz Rec Center when I was getting certified. I got certified the same time as our oldest son. And there you do the basic bookwork principles. There are tests and that sort of thing to make sure you've gotten the knowledge. And then you can do a refresher. And then in the pool at the rec center, you learn all of your different skills. breathing underwater, getting comfortable with that idea, using, it's called a regulator, or I'll just say breather. And then equalizing pressure, going down 10 feet. We've all experienced that in a swimming pool. If you go in the deep end, go down 10 feet, you feel the pressure. Well, it's just like in an airplane. You hold your nose, blow, and then you can equalize it and get comfortable even in 10 to 12 feet. Keeping a stable depth level, not rising too quick, not falling too quick and hitting the bottom and disturbing coral. And then the big one is the 2 open water dives, and that's where you go to a quarry. There's one in Lebanon County called Dutch Springs, and the viz is not so great. What do I mean by viz? Somebody? Visibility, yeah, we just say viz. There, we're talking 6 feet, maybe less, maybe a little more, and they do say sometimes 30 feet. So that's how you then get certified. And then I went on to advanced open water in 2013, took a trip with York Scuba, went to Grand Cayman Islands and a dive resort there, and then continued and finished up and went on. So there are 2 kinds of dives, a boat dive, or what's another way other than a boat dive, especially our divers in the room? What other way? If you don't dive off of a boat, what else can you do? Walk right out and do a shore dive if there's good stuff close to the shore. So almost always, I love having a dive master because they know the area. They know where all the really cool stuff is. And you just totally relax. They'll let you know when it's time to come up. There was a dive master I had in the Bahamas, and one of his tricks, he had these certain fish. This one was a grouper about this big. He trained it to actually come up and give him a kiss, seriously, and then it swam away. So he would do this little, it was like out of this world seeing this guy do that. So I think it's time for me to put dive equipment on. I need 2 volunteers to come and help hold the tank here. 2 volunteers. All right, Tony and Glenn.
You're not going to let it get oily up or anything.
No. All right, if you guys just support the weight of the tank would be awesome. And just if one on each side. Okay, and let's see, I guess this will be okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my arms in here if I can find. Thank you. Yes. And then I'll show you what each of these items are here. Okay, so I have a Velcro. And this isn't crazy heavy. I mean, when you get in the water, it kind of floats. So you're not going to like sink to the bottom all of a sudden. Okay, and now, put this, pull it pretty snug. And then I have one here. Now, usually you have a dive buddy when you're on the boat. So they're helping you get this stuff together. Thanks, Glenn. All right, so what I have here, this is one of the breathers, or the regulators, and this is the main one. Anybody have an idea what this one would be for? A backup?
Or to share with someone.
Or to share with someone who has run out of air. They go like this, please share. So this you keep in a spot that is easy to see. So the backup breather. And then this is the main one. Tony, can you come and open the tank, please? I forgot to do that. Now, usually this is in the boat, sitting in the back of a bench. They have these holes that the tank goes in, so it's really easy to suit up. Okay, so we have pressure, and you'll know it when I do this. So then I put this in my mouth. And that's when you start to see the bubbles when you're breathing out, going up. Okay, and then when we're pressurized, I can see I have 3,000 PSI. I mean, there's a lot of pressure in this tank. And then when this hits the water, this is my dive computer, hits the water, I can tell my depth, and this tells me how long we've been down. And then the other part is here. That inflates my vest. Okay, so the typical process, pretend I just got up. I already have my fins, and yeah, Peggy will show you the fins. Yeah, good. Just hold them up. Got fins and mask, everything in place. So my dive buddy and I, we side by side and just double check. Do you have your air on? Blah blah blah. Okay, so I inflate my BCD, this vest, buoyancy controlled device. All right, that's definitely a lot of air. Okay, so we're ready to go. And I step off the boat. The normal, most often it's called the giant stride. Big step, and you just land in the water. But important before that is you hold your mask, and then you get your regulator. Hold the regulator, hold the mask, jump in, and then you turn around, and you do this to say, I'm okay. Either that or that. And then they know you're in good shape, you're floating, and then you wait for your buddy, and then your dive master watch for him, and you're just floating around waiting. And then the dive master, everybody okay? We're still on top of the water. And then he goes, let's go down if everybody's good. And then you release the air. Now the vest is totally deflating, and I'm sinking down and going down. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at these corals and the fish. It's like, oh, I'm loving it already. And you go down like 15. You look at each other, your dive buddy, we okay? Yep, everything's good. Equalizing, you're, doing like you do on an airplane, and all that kind of weird stuff. And then you get yourself level. By now, you're maybe 30 feet down. So the secret is to go your deepest dive first. So now we're looking at 60, 80 feet, and you're just seeing incredible marine life, incredible coral. And then you have to constantly be checking, well, not constantly, every now and then, check your PSI, make sure you have plenty of air, and then your dive master will get your attention, and he'll do this, give me your time, or he'll do that, whatever the dive master wants. And then if it's 2,000 pounds, just do that. If it's 2,200, 2,200. Ways of communicating underwater, because obviously you can't talk. And there are little sketch pads that are made for writing under the water. If you see an incredible giant grouper over here, giant grouper, and then show it through, hey, where, Also, we have symbols like shark or hammerhead shark or lobster, those sort of symbols. And that's your dive master usually showing you where these are. So I'm under the water, enjoying myself. You have about 45 minutes, typical dive time, or bottom time, they call it. I think I'm going to take this off now. Yeah, we'll just set it back on the chair. Alrighty. Yeah, because in the water it's way more comfortable. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is a secret, serene, unbelievable world underwater when you can stay down. Feel like you're floating above the moon, and there's no gravity. And the secret is don't use a lot of motion. You don't do this. It's all in the fins. So you basically cross your arms or like that, and you just scoot along at a really slow pace. Everything is super slow motion. You're weightless. So we have bottom time limit. So gradually as you ascend, there's nitrogen leaving your body, because we all know air doesn't only have oxygen, but the nitrogen in it. And when you put it under pressure, the properties, it tends to saturate in your body, so you have to get it out. Because otherwise you can get what's called narcosis, nitrogen narcosis, like an intoxication. You might start making bad decisions like, oh, I don't need this. This is the best dive ever. I can breathe underwater. So, I'm exaggerating. But it's not a good thing when you get up on land then, and you're acting very, very strange. All right, then you have a slow ascend. You're surfacing, and you have a 15-foot. And you have usually a gauge. The boat has something dangling down that shows the 15-foot mark, or your dive master takes you there. And we wait just 5 minutes, more nitrogen leaving our body. And then at this point, if you ascend too quickly, I mean, that's another part of it, is if you ascend too quickly, we've all heard of the bends, and you've got bubbles in your tissue. So that's what then takes you to the decompression chamber, which is where you lead us not into decompression. That's what that one meant. So, and they have them posted all over the coastline for divers. And it can be, very comfortable and safe. It's not always tragic. It's just something to realize. So you always want to dive with no decompression time. So no sudden change in level. Typically, you've heard maybe the term two-tank dive. That all that means is you're diving down twice. But in between dives, you have to have a surface interval. And about 45 minutes usually releases the nitrogen. They'll usually give you orange slices, plenty of fresh water. And the back of my shirt says, diving is life. Everything else is surface interval. So so in case you didn't see that, and many of you recognize this as the diver's flag. You see vehicles going around and anywhere in our country with that on the front of their car. In fact, I haven't put ours on yet. I keep forgetting to do that. This is the Honduras flag. This was the shirt I got diving in Roatan, the island of Roatan, Honduras. Okay, so that takes me to, I got slides and video. I've done 86 dives over 17 years, and time to show you where I've been. Is there a laser pointer, John?
Yes.
That would be awesome. Yep. So the one I want to mention first, right off the coast of Belize. Belize is known as one of the dive capitals of the world, and it's called the Blue Hole. And my son had a chance to do that with me.
It's that button.
Right on.
That's
Got it. Okay, great. Thank you. Great. So you start off, you descend slowly, but now we're going down about 120 feet. And that's the limit of a typical recreational diver. So it's getting darker. It's getting darker. You feel like definitely you're on the moon. You're looking through stalactites, because what it is, it's a sunken cave roof of a cave that totally collapsed. And of course, there's water, and then the stalactites hanging down, or is it stalagmites? Which ones hang? Tights, thank you. And right in behind is a giant grouper smiling at you with the big teeth, about like a six foot long grouper. And you're looking up, and the divers are about 1 inch tall as you're way down there. The water is just crystal clear. So that was just such an amazing experience. Cancun, Cozumel. This is Roatan, where we just were last April, I think that was. Cayman Islands, of course, Florida Keys, also shark tooth diving here in Siesta Key off the coast of Venice Beach, and then Bahamas a good bit, 2 different dive sites. Dominican Republic, we were there doing some volunteer work 1 week and then another week of fun. Alrighty, so our next destination is St. Lucia, actually. We're planning to go in January, we hope to go. And then deepest, well, that 120, the Blue Hole, yeah. And since then, 80 max, because it starts to really get dark and the colors aren't as vibrant. And the big deal about the area I mentioned off the coast of Belize and above Honduras, this is the second biggest reef other than the Great Barrier Reef, the Mesoamerican reef, as you can see. So that's just a really important part of diving, is that area, and it's so close to where we live. And even Cayman and Bahamas are just almost just as great. All right, and I also had a chance to, when we were visiting my relatives in Poland, they were totally blown away that I had my equipment. I only own the top of this. This is the octopus, people call it, with all the items I showed you about that's attached to the tank. People normally don't own a tank. It's way too heavy to take on as baggage on a plane. So you always get the tanks wherever you're diving. And also, I don't own one of these because that's a lot of weight. I always rent the BCD or the vest there. And I want to thank Lancaster Scuba. They loaned these those two items to me for this demonstration. But anyway, I had my octopus with me telling my relatives about going down 60 feet. Well, as soon as I said 10, 15 meters, like, how can you do that? So Baltic Sea, many of you know the history. That's where the first shots of World War II were fired. And I had a chance to dive a wreck in that area from World War II. There wasn't a whole lot left of it, but it was just really fascinating. Seeing the wheelhouse and things like that. And then another spot, probably my favorite dive, I had a chance to dive the Red Sea all the way down there. More on that later. All right, I've talked enough. I think it's time for some pictures and video. All right, flying over top of Cayman Islands. That's the dive resort, and that's a saltwater pool in the front where you can work on your skills if you're getting newly certified or upgrading your certification. The dive boats are in the back there. Oh, and by the way, you can do a shore dive here, just a short distance out where the water's deeper. You're in like 80 feet and up to maybe 1,000 feet of water, and you're diving the wall. Diving the wall is like the best because you're seeing everything come alive. You just float along and you're seeing lobsters and you're seeing, you know, massive fish. You're seeing really little fish that are very rare. Like I say, this is on the dive boat and we're getting the briefing. Our dive master is showing us the various rocks and the coral heads and the different formations and telling us exactly what route we're going to be taking through the entire reef system. So one of my choices for advanced open water is wreck diving. And this is, I think it's from World War II, that was sunken, the Kittiwake. I think it's a British warship, and it's sunk in about 80 feet of water. This is off the coast, like I said, Cayman Islands. Check it out. It's a massive ship. This diver's pretty close to us in the picture, but that thing is way bigger than it looks.
These are all your pictures, right?
Most of them, or a guy that was with me, who then shared them with us. And you'll
take pictures.
I really don't, because the people around me have these amazing cameras, and then they share it. Yeah.
And
Yes.
Ross has an amazing.
And our son Ben, who when he then would dive with me, he would then share the pictures with me. More on that later. So now we're on the deck, and you can go in and out. And of course, there's the crow's nest. And that's me getting ready to go inside the wreck. So I thought, I wonder what it's like to sit in the pilot house, the wheelhouse. Here I am. I'm steering the wheel. Yeah, the boat's not moving for some reason. And now we're back looking out the bow, and you can see the colorful marine life up top there. And that's me floating along the reef, relaxing and enjoying the scene. And that was my open splash picture. And then more from a distance, you know, the clarity was just so awesome. Now we're doing some swim throughs. I'll only go in these if I see the exit. I'm not one to do cave diving or anything like that. No, thank you. Nope. And then looking in through other divers. And here, there were tarpon that were like this big everywhere, but they're really friendly. And I was kind of looking at some really unique other little fish. I feel this nudge on my shoulder. It's a tarpon. It's like smiling at me. It's like, and they said, all you did, just push them away. They're docile. This is just like this great harmony underwater. You know, we all get along underwater, you know. So, now here, this is Ben. He took this. A pod of, these are called spinner dolphin. They travel in large groups, and they can really fly. These are there now that, yeah, look, they just, and of course, marine turtles. You just see these all in loggerheads and green turtles and just fabulous. All right, this is our son's girlfriend alongside of, obviously, a green turtle, just a beautiful creature. And you can do some, you know, fun, you know, signs and gestures underwater. They're, you know, having the white sandy bottom to sit on, and So anyway, so Ben contacted me right at the end of COVID, and Dad, he was just finishing his job in Amsterdam, about ready to move to Hong Kong to start his position there. I have this chunk of time. I found this amazing deal on a liveaboard. Divers know what I'm talking about. And the liveaboard in the Red Sea. And I said, I'm there. So this is June of 2021. I was just finishing my president year. It's like, I'm going. This is a celebration. Especially,
will you be my dive buddy?
Will you be my dive buddy? Yes, count me in. So, I had to make a lot of arrangements and things covered while I'm gone. Anyway, so here's the flight path over Budapest, and you can see on the upper right, Kyiv. Of course, we're very concerned about that part of the world. And now flying into Istanbul, and then took a short flight to, of course, below Cairo. And now we're flying into Hurghada, and this is a very big resort area in Egypt. And now we're in the Red Sea. We went just into Sudan a little bit, to the upper Red Sea. But what an experience, flying over the Holy Lands, flying over the pyramids, although I couldn't really see them. But just looking down and just thinking of the amazing history down there. Just these are the things you get to do, and I'm so privileged and just very humbled at the opportunities. So this is on the dive boat. We're getting briefed. You can see the desert in the back and the wind. It's windy all the time. The forecast often is dust, scattered dust throughout the day, things like that. It's like, what? So this is now on the dive boat. It's going to get pretty loud. Be ready. So you can see, just the deep blue of the sea. This is probably 500 feet of water. And in the distance, we saw some oases, some areas of, like a nice village, or who knows what in Egypt, the pharaoh of somewhere, I don't know. All right, that's our youngest son, and we've now arrived on a reef. So we're just trolling around quietly, and you can see the white sandy bottom. This is about 60 to 80 feet, and the coral top. You'd never know what's under there as you're looking around, and it's okay. Then we've got these friends. I think this was photoshopped. I don't think anybody actually got this picture, but the reason I'm showing it, Ben had his GoPro up, and we were told this was called, it's called Lighthouse Reef, Daedalus. I got a T-shirt with it on, and we were told, hammerheads, if you see them coming towards you, look for a white line, and stay vertical. If you do horizontal, I don't know. Stay vertical. Okay, so we've got a fairly tall person, all this equipment, bubbles going up. They will not approach you. All right, we were 12 divers, 10 were over here. Ben is here. I'm here. He's coming right toward me. Here's the video. Ben got it on video. Here we go. Look for the white line. Then toward the end, you'll see me on the left. This is every diver's dream, See it coming? And we're like freaking out. It's like, we're this close. How can it be? Stay calm. Stay calm. Watch for me up here. Now see, he's moving away. He doesn't want to bother with me or anybody. Right about now, maybe. Yeah, there. That's me. Wow! I survived. Yeah. What's that?
Oh, okay. The bubbles are the white
Oh no, the white line. I should have said horizontal.
of the front
Of the hammer. Yeah, or
you
the.
just want to stay above that.
Oh no! Just know that that's what's coming. Is all that was for.
Just watch for the white line because it means a hammerhead's
That exactly, because the regular shark, you don't see anything so obvious. And the interesting thing, it was looking up at me. I just felt like it was saying, "Don't laugh at me. I was born this way. I can't help it." You know, it was, and I have a postcard picture. I should have brought that. It looks like it's smiling and saying, "Hey, I'm having fun here." So that's the hammerhead experience. That was definitely my favorite experience of all my diving. Was that hammerhead, baby? Oof. What's that?
Scariest too.
Well, we're in 60 feet of water, you know. So just a little bit, it's like, okay, that people do this all the time. And a little bit, like cautiously optimistic could be the expression. uh, and the other divers were so jealous. None of them got so close on the whole trip. Like, so then, of course, this is what I was telling you about. It's so easy getting suited up, sitting in the dive bench. So we're good. And you can sleep up top if you want. So like 7 days we were on this boat. So if you ever are at the shore at night and you see this light underwater that looks something like this, it's somebody doing a night dive. And you have an underwater waterproof torch, we call it. And you can see some amazing things. Octopus come out of hiding. Maybe their heads are this big. They're not like that. And the lobster tend to come out, Caribbean lobster or whatever area you're in at night. And other really interesting things like this. This was getting toward dusk. The mouth is on the right side of this creature. I don't know if you're close enough to see it. But look for the mouth opening and closing right there. Such a unique creature. Yeah, there. It's like, what? What's that?
You don't know.
I have no idea. I never found it. Or maybe they told me and I was just so blown away I forgot. And then another, now it's really dark. This is a large hermit crab. Yeah, stirring up the bottom. And now scurrying across the bottom. Can you guys see okay? Or should I turn? Would that help? That helps. All right. So now, of course, it's finishing COVID. We had to do a lot of COVID requirement things. So here we're getting our final clearance, COVID test negative. You can go home. Now I was probably more concerned than in the water with the hammerhead. I don't want to be stuck in Egypt. But we did spend the night at a really nice resort that next night or two. So, but everything was good. And this dive company took care of all this stuff. They were excellent. So we didn't have to worry. And just some beautiful buildings. And that was our driver. And of course, we're going through checkpoint after checkpoint, going down to the dive site to meet the dive boat. It was like 3 hours south in the desert, surrounded by all this brown. And they got the AR-15 rifles and all that. So it's like, what? And this is a totally transparent starfish. Starfish. Yep. And then we, really cool looking little critter. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name. I'll think of it. And now we have a see-through shrimp, glass shrimp, and these are Ben's pictures. He's got some amazing stuff with just his GoPro. Really interesting looking critter here. Oh, cuttlefish. That's what I was trying to remember. Totally camouflaged. All right. So on the left, Ben. You can tell the guy in the middle. Our oldest son, Paul. Now we were spending a week in Florida, and we had a chance to get away for a day and dive together. Now we're suited up, and you can do some pretty funny stuff on the bottom. These, of course, are water guns, or maybe air guns, since we're under. Anyway, so then you can do some video things with the GoPro. Put it on a mount on the bottom. Do the pose. So that's the oldest, scooting on in. And then from above, it's twirling down in. Yeah, you can do some crazy acrobatics because it's weightless. And here's a huge school of barracuda we came upon. And they're doing their own thing. They won't bother you. And then you can find some funny things on the bottom, like an elliptical. Of course, it's so rusted, it's not going to move, but you can fake it, of course. And then wherever you go, there's always some amazing food to enjoy once you're up top and talking about your amazing dive and great beverages naturally as you look at the horizon at the dive boats and areas that you may have just been underwater. Bait ball. This is incredible. So there's a diver right in the middle of that, went right through the bait ball. The whole thing moves. Look at that. And this is just like the whole atmosphere changes. It gets dark and then light. It's like, what? And of course, the purpose of the bait ball is the ones on the outside are the sacrificial, and the one it's kind of like the army. You know, it's just, I hate to say, but that is really an amazing experience. And this kind of looks like Finding Nemo. There's this little guy here in among the tentacles of the plant. And just to have an idea of what it is like when you're just going over coral and crystal clear water. This is about maybe 20 feet. And at 20 feet, you still get a lot of bright colors. As soon as you go about 40 feet on down, it gets dimmer and dimmer because the light is not as reaching as far down. Okay, of course, you got to have some shark experiences. I've had reef shark, one on each side of the reef. And they just do their thing. They don't bother you. These are white tip. They can do damage if you are thrashing. Just don't thrash around like your bait. You know, just act like, hey, we're all supposed to be here. And then one of my favorites. Oh, anybody know what these are? What kind of rays? Manta rays. They're actually eagle rays. And they just eat krill and, you know, little other things that are in the water. All right, and now, one of my favorites. We're about to see a whale shark. Truly stunning. Anybody know how big these get to be? 30, that's like to start. They can get as big as 60 feet. They're massive and beautiful creatures. And of course, the dive companies, they attract them with the bait. You saw that big clump of bait, and just a stunning creature. And then my most recent dive stateside, of course, I was mentioning Siesta Key. Unfortunately, that area has really been hit hard with the double hurricane. But off the coast there's tons of shark teeth that you can come upon. That was our dive boat. I'm getting suited up, and you always have someone there to help you. And now this is a different kind of water entry, the backwards fall.
That's Don.
That's me, by the way, yes. Yep, and then I give the signal, I'm okay, no worries. And I'm floating because I have my vest filled with water, and now I hold up the valve, and then it empties my vest, and then I descend eventually. And now the kind of stuff you find, that shark tooth you're looking at from a diver, some of you know, what's the name of the ancient or the old shark, the megalodon. Yes, these things go for like $300. They know where to take them to dealers because there are people that buy these things. I don't know what they do with them. But you can see there's other stuff. Whale bone, which I found. Peggy has there a rib of a whale and a little shark tooth. I didn't find any of the real big stuff. And you know, here's what the bubbles look like, in case you're wondering, from the divers. Now we are going to our this is my last one, is Rotary. And check it out. At the airport, we are greeted with a Rotary sign, welcome to Rotary, and greeted with the philosophy of the earth. Yeah, right. Beer will change a little. It changes some things, but so that's what it looks like. You can see that this is the drop off close to the beach. is, and now we're in 500,000 feet of water, and you're diving the wall, and you can do a shore dive out to there as well. So I'm getting suited up there, and then we got on the boat offshore, and they just took us a short distance out. I'm waving, and my wife decides she's going to enjoy herself. Those are her feet, and with a tropical drink, of course. And then it's time for me to come out of the water and say to you, thank you very much. Any questions? Glenn.
So, how far can you go down without any risk of